This conference will now be recorded.
Which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So in the back, there's some agendas that show what we're going to do with the work session. I was going to let you go first, but I'll just do the first part anyway. If that's okay.
Proceed.
So the first thing on the thing is a employee handbook and a longevity pay policy. Now, Town of Wilmington's employee handbook was last updated in 2014, and it was, it needs to be looked over. A couple of board members have volunteered. Laura is here this evening, and she sees that I've left a couple of these policies. This is the Town of Wilmington policy, and that is the Town of Keene handbook, and that's the Town of Jay handbook. And so we're going to try to work on it without necessarily having to engage a professional consultant to produce our own handbook. And Darren also volunteered to help. Darren is excused from tonight's meeting, but he'll be brought up to speed. So what I'd like to do is go through that and start working on that as well. Is that okay? Fine. The next thing is there has been an ambiguity with the longevity pay policy. And I just want tonight, if we could clear up with a resolution. So at the end of last year, there was a proposal, and it was part of the discussion about in the budget for a raise, and so it was budgeted, but it just wasn't clearly set out in the minutes that the longevity pay policy had been adopted. This is a copy of the county pay policy. From which the town board took it last year. And also ours gives a list of the employees and how long they've been here and things like that, so we can identify how the longevity pay policy works. Is anybody unfamiliar with this? Laura, you want to look at it for a moment?
I just want to look at it for a second. And it's an annual payment. Is it hourly, or is it on their anniversary date?
I think it's in December of the year.
Okay.
I think that's what's the county say? Yeah, and the first non-Friday payroll in December of each year is how the county does it. We're starting it this year, so we haven't actually done it, but I imagine we'll probably be following the county kind of model and things like that. So I'd like to actually make a resolution that we clarify last year's board decision and include this proposed longevity policy as part of this year's board policy. Is there a motion?
So, and then we'll discuss, I guess.
Second, and then discuss.
Second.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
So this is the template that you used, or this is just where that they came up with the numbers?
No, the numbers of the years and things,
Mm-hmm.
those are just based on our own records.
Okay. No, like the $100 increase annually.
Yes, that was
the board decision.
The board decision was to
Okay.
follow the county. I asked the county manager to give me the CSEA contract that contained it. He sent me the whole contract, and this is page 53 is where they have that provision in it. And that's what the board was following last year.
But this is not, this is 500 for the first 5 years, 1,000 for the second 5 years.
Then they adopted something different. You're right. You did? Okay. I beg your pardon.
No,
Laura,
it's
you're
okay.
right.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Sorry, anything else on that?
No.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Carried. Thank you. So the next is John is here because the Parks Department would like us to plan going forward, and also to get ready to spend some Christmas decorations, which we could probably do at the next meeting.
Well, they have a yearly sale.
Okay,
And we typically try to order it during that sale, it's like 35% off. So I believe it's the end of the month.
this
Yeah,
February.
As in today?
Season gone.
maybe. I can double check.
Okay, so, do we have a number again, or do I have to?
Wait, I gave you the quote, it was like
All right.
12.88.
Does anyone mind if I go see if I can find that piece of paper?
Nope.
It's in my office. If the judge comes in and starts court, I'm not back.
John was related to John Devlin, who posted the other day, 10 more months till Christmas.
Seriously, really? Through this one first.
Just two fold decorations.
Yeah. Want my jacket?
That's crazy.
Kathy's been freezing all day.
Was what I was in here working on that. Well, and the wind's been blowing through my windows all day, so.
Kathy's been down there going like this all day. We gave her an extra heater and everything.
I know. In this presentation, Laura, I figured out how to make your present.
Oh, thank you. Awesome.
You bring your computer
Okay.
and
Stream
sign
it.
in on this, and I can go down through those things and you make your present, so you'll show your computer screen. Theoretically, it's gonna show up there.
Thank you. I'll bring, I also got a thumb drive that I could put in.
There's a way of using that, but we don't have a port.
Oh, there's not? Okay.
We have to buy an extension thing, so.
No big deal. That's great. Thank you.
Is that the quote?
The quote expires today.
Oh,
But the sale goes till March, till the end of the first week of March.
Okay,
So it won't change. It just,
okay,
but I could always email him tonight too, and then
okay.
it would just be today.
So you'd like us to make a resolution approving you to sign the contract for $1,241.86 for the holiday decorations?
Yeah, it's 2 pole mount decorations and the bulbs to replace things that break.
Okay.
Putting them up and taking them down and whatnot.
And look at the shipping.
Is this in place of some, or is it in addition to?
Well, we typically order, like, we have the old ones that we've had for 20-ish years that are getting more and more tired, and we'll usually order like 2 a year and then kind of phase out the 2 worst old ones, and like eventually they'll all be replaced.
Mhm. I don't know how much Christmas decorations are, but sounds, it's 3 feet, or no, 36 triple candles. They're large, they're the large ones that
Yeah,
are
they're like,
on the electricity poles.
yeah.
Okay.
They're pretty, I mean, no matter where you get them, they're all really sort of, the same kind of in the price range.
I'll make a motion.
And that's all we need, or you don't need any?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I think
You're saying
everything
where we're
else-
paying the shipping, I was just going to make sure that we weren't.
Throw some more stuff in there, but it's all right. No, probably
No,
not.
everything else is in
Yeah.
halfway decent
Any
shape.
lights or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Carrie, all right, John, that's authorized. I'll give you back this one. You can sign that and use that to fulfill the order. Now, there's a couple of we discussed earlier in the winter, and now this is getting towards the end of the winter, that the Parks Department could use a sand spreader for the back of one of its pickup trucks. Currently, they have to either spread sand by hand, or they have the little unit in the back of the green tractor that throws salt out, and that sometimes doesn't work that well. Am I right about any of all this stuff?
Well, it works fine with salt.
Yeah.
If we wanted to not use salt all the time, and if we just wanted to put sand down from time to time,
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't work for the sand. It's a spreader.
Okay.
The sander would be good, like for here, for the town hall, for the other parking lots that we plow. I mean, in the past, we've done all the sidewalks by hand. Just fill a pickup truck with sand and throw it out by hand.
But this could handle sidewalks too.
Yep,
Do Sander attend to the cemetery?
I do. We plow the cemeteries.
Would you think sand would be helpful?
We do
too?
sand them from time to time, yeah.
Okay. And so I think what we're trying to do is talk to the board about it now. Eventually, we'll have to put up a reserve fund, maybe, and apply it towards the purchase of that, and we'll get quotes for it and do the stuff that we're supposed to do. But tonight, we're just discussing.
This was a previous quote, or is that?
We got quotes this year, but I'm sure they'll change for next year.
Yeah, that's just a guideline.
And this is for 3 different components, or is it?
I think is that.
It's got the broadcast spreader, the quick cast spreader, and then the hopper spreader, the electric hopper spreader. That was, I think that was from like one of the first meetings this month. I had it in my file.
So this is one of them.
Okay.
So this would be the price of everything installed.
Okay.
And there's another quote somewhere. They're all like really close to each
And
other.
how much is that one?
9,100 for the 8-foot polyelectric hopper spreader, installed with a whole bunch of accessories, it looks like.
So basically, I'm just trying to get a sense of whether we're going to have him go forward with that and then make a planned allocation of money into it so he can make the order in time so he's ahead of next season.
I definitely think it's worth the money. I mean, just get the quotes and
Yeah.
I know they run between 7 and 9, right around there to get them. So I definitely would go ahead and get the quotes to do it. It's definitely well worth it.
Yeah.
It's gonna save workers' comp wise too. I mean, you guys can
Eventually,
being out there,
something's
being in
gonna
the
happen.
cold and all, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
No, definitely. It makes more sense to do that, absolutely.
So we're not making any kind of resolution now. We're just saying go right ahead
Yeah, we'll just get quotes again.
and get quotes and then we'll be ready for it. And then we'll have sort of identify where the funds are coming from for it. Now, the playground equipment, John. I'm sorry, Darren is excused, but it's something he's asked us. He'd like us to work on or set up a reserve account for. And what's the playground inventory status?
Well, I talked to him briefly about it. I guess if you guys had a ballpark price range of what we wanted to spend on a new piece of equipment,
Okay.
then I could kind of sort of look through the books and pick out a few things in that range. And
Is there anything jumping out? Right. I mean, I don't know. Is there
not really, because I have no idea
Okay.
what to even look at. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like some of the stuff, I mean, you can go as crazy as you want, So, I mean, I just don't know what price range of things to look at.
Okay. How to budget for us? I mean, you could say, okay, we'll spend up to $10,000 or something like that, and then you just go by what you can with that. How is it decided that playground equipment needs to be replaced, or
Well, I don't think it would be replacing anything. I think it would be adding to in the park.
This park here?
There's the kind of the empty corner
Oh, okay,
where you could fit a bigger piece of equipment.
okay.
It was kind of Darren's thing.
No, I know, he's excused tonight, so,
Yeah.
it was on the agenda, so we must chat about it for a few minutes.
But I could, like, if I knew, say there's a ballpark range,
Mhm.
I could kind of get an idea and get some ideas and come to another meeting and just
Okay.
sort of print them out and give them to everybody and whatever everybody thinks is the best path to go.
Yeah, it's interesting, because, I mean, in my sort of, I'm playground equipment, number of kids that are using it, the amount of time I've seen kids up there playing. I've seen more kids up there playing and enjoying themselves. And if it would be something that could improve that park, it's missing something that would really make it okay for the kids.
It needs an infant or like a toddler
So there you
area.
go.
And that's the thing, we gotta figure the age range
Right,
that we're
because there's
looking at
plenty
too.
for like 4 and up, but
Right.
I mean, it's really hard to just let your kid go in it's small, you have
Yeah.
kids, I mean,
We
it's
gotta
just,
figure the age and what kind of ground stuff we have to have on the ground for.
So are we,
There's some things that can kind of accommodate everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
are we missing really small infant
Yeah.
stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's been a while since we researched. I didn't know what they look like. I mean, what would we need?
Well, there's just some stuff that is kind of like I don't want to say a jungle gym, but it's kind of like everything is sort of,
Okay.
there's stuff there that would keep your 7-year-old busy, and then there's parts down low where, kids
Okay.
spin things and play
Something
with
they
things.
can
and
climb
stick
on, crawl
things
under,
through
go up
little
over,
tunnels.
through.
So listen, if that's kind of what we sense we'd like us to look for equipment for, then we can ask John to go out and give us some ideas of what we could put there, how much it would cost, and things like that. We'll be ready
Yeah.
near for the next one. If that's fine by me.
They have some other cool packages too, like comes with like a sunshade
Nice.
over like the real small kids parts because kids get nuked.
Fair skin.
Yeah.
The birds. Yeah, sounds good.
There's just lots of cool stuff. I just have no clue where to begin.
Price
You know what I
wise.
mean? Yeah.
Well,
And it can go from,
I-
you can go as crazy, you know what I mean? Like
no, I
the
mean,
price range goes from $0 to $150,000. So it's that
well, I don't
There's
think
really
$50,000 is going to work.
there's nowhere to, I don't know where to start. You know what I mean?
So, I think if we start with the idea that we'd like to see something for the infant type thing with the sunscreen and things like that, and give us sort of a variety of ideas.
Put together a couple different packages,
Right.
get a couple different prices together for us, bring them back, and then we can go from there to see what you have, and then we can critique it from there. I think would be where we would
I think-
start.
Like age 1 to 4 would be what we're missing in our current,
And then we
Part.
can just go from there.
at the minute, like the baseline, and
Yeah.
then
Because then the
anything.
bike park kind of picks up, and then the youth center picks up, and then we're kind of utilizing a little bit of everything together.
You just reminded me of something. Go ahead.
Nope, I'm just saying that's
No,
where.
so if that's okay, could you, along the lines of this, we'll try looking for smallish kids thingies and location. I'd like to bring up the use of that wooden, what do you call them?
The bleachers?
The bleachers.
I was going to bring that up.
You
next.
did. Yeah, you started moving from over there towards the ball field, and I've been looking at that, and I'm thinking, why do we have those? And would it be okay to get rid of them? I mean, they're steep, they're not that safe. They're an attractive thing for kids to get hung up on. And that'd be something we could ask the Parks Department to remove.
The insurance company has had a beef with them for a while.
Oh, well, then,
And they're,
you're talking to
I mean,
the
those are the
attorney.
same ones like we sat on in T-ball. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just sort of beyond repair. It
Yeah.
would be replaced at this point.
Yeah.
The two at the field over here, I mean, we don't have the bases, we don't have the bench, it's not really a ball field. And the bathrooms are kind of like right on the foul line anyway. And we have the ball field up here, so I would certainly suggest just getting rid of those.
We have wooden ones down here too?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
There's a sign on the back of one of them, which we could make like a 4x4
Yeah.
frame and, put the sign back up somewhere wherever everybody thinks is the best spot to put it. And these up here, we do have the one set of aluminum bleachers, which they still kind of have a problem with because there aren't rails and a back. So when they make them now like insurance compliant, there would be railings running up the sides across the back, and then it would be chain linked. So nobody can fall off or out or.
Or
So-
if they do fall, they'll be falling into something instead of just completely off the thing.
If we did want to replace the ones at this ball field,
Mm-hmm.
I could get quotes for like the bleachers that like all the schools use. And
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, my own feeling is I don't know how often the ballpark is used. I mean, we still have a dugout, things like that. If the park gets reimagined as something else in the future, because people, I mean, we think about the tennis court. I was of the time when you couldn't get a time to play at the village tennis courts because everybody played tennis and you had to wait your turn and they had somebody there to take the reservation and you're on at 1 o'clock. And tennis just isn't that exciting anymore. And that's fine. And so I'm just wondering how often it's used and whether we're going to invest more in terms of making it, you get rid of it because it's not safe, but should we replace it because it's going to be used by somebody?
it doesn't get used too much lately, unfortunately. But,
Yeah. I mean, so the way I'm kind of seeing it is like getting rid of the unsafe ones for sure, the
right,
wooden
that would be the
ones.
first step. For sure.
We can worry about the ballpark later and what to do with the metal one. Okay, that's just the way I kind of look at it.
Yeah, so that's what I was just going to ask permission to get rid of them, basically. That would be the first step, I guess.
Do you have anything else on that?
John said that our tennis courts are utilized by a lot of tourists. That's what he had said when we did this.
So, are they all playing pickleball now?
There have been people since we put the lines down, yeah.
Okay.
But there will be people.
Yeah, no, I'm just making my point, which is that some of these things are extremely popular and stuff like that. And then over the years, I mean, my aunt played up here in the big leagues in the 70s when they had all the big softball teams, Tynoffs and 20 Main, and it was quite competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It was very popular. And, it's just not as popular. We don't have that many teams and interest in that kind of stuff. So we're hanging on to it. At some point, maybe the town would want to. It's such a great spot. That park is perfectly flat and beautiful and all that stuff. But I'm not asking us to do anything about it, just to think about it. So could we give John permission? We can do a resolution, I suppose, to take those things down for us.
Make it.
I'll second.
Any more discussion?
What would you do with the wood?
I'll bring it to the landfill and the construction dumpster.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Gary? Oh, opposed? Sorry, no. Gary. Thank you. So that's, John, is there anything else you'd like to talk to us about?
While we're talking about the park, the only thing, and it isn't so important now being the end of the season, but we painted the front half of the building, the floor, and kind of, made everything look nice. So the back half where people rent skates, or not rent skates, where people get their skates and, walk around to the bathroom with their skates on and everything, we kind of pieced together with horse mats. I would like to kind of rubber, like the rubber,
Right.
at the arena, at the store.
Yep.
I'd like to do that in the back room.
Hmm.
I could start getting some prices.
Sure. I mean, we've had such a crappy winter in terms of consistent cold, but the ice rink is very popular, and it's certainly a nice feature for the town to have a beautiful ice rink like that and places for they can get out and do stuff. So that makes it safer back there and saves. Do we own those skates too?
We do. Yep.
Oh, well, there, save the skates a little bit, that'd be great.
And we could use the mats that we have then outside to make like a path. We have a path like halfway to the rink, and usually it's snow and ice that you would walk on after that, so it's not such a big deal. But
Okay,
we can put it in front of the, the benches and everything else. But I'll get prices on that stuff.
thank you.
Yeah.
This season may be over.
It's over.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Sorry.
No, but also,
no.
now you're making me think
You
of this.
have not, you got a storm coming in.
We don't have a nice storm.
But that's not ice.
We don't have the storms go
So we also have to start thinking about your liner issue. You think we maybe need to replace
We'll know
that
better
when you pull it up?
when we pull it up. We'll see what kind of shape it's in.
Okay.
Would those two items be something we could use the occupancy funds for? Because it is utilized by
I'm just
tourists.
sort of shaking. I would think so.
I think that would be a
No, I think that's right.
good source.
So, when we get down to it, we'll just, we'll identify the funds that way.
A lot of places will replace their liner yearly because they just get
Trash.
right. But if we could kind of plan on like the 3 to 5 years, depending, we put the old one underneath the new one, so when there are slashes and cuts and holes in the new one, it hopefully goes through and gets caught up in the old one, and then eventually it'll just all freeze and gum itself up. But that gets worse and worse every year too.
How much does it cost to dispose of the old liner? That costs money to throw away? Okay.
We never disposed of one. We just put.
You just put
the
more.
old one.
It's like the number of shingles on one of my roofs.
Right.
Yes, got lots of them.
It won't leak if you have 3 roofs.
That's what I've been told. Well, thank you, John.
Yeah.
I appreciate it very much. Okay, so next is the administrative. We're gonna have Nicole come up and sit here with us. So at the last regular meeting, we talked about the fact that Nicole has been working hard on a new report that she's gonna give to the board and to the public at our new regular meetings. It's using a software that New York State prefers. And she's been working very hard with Kathy, our expert, experienced, longtime.
That's the ORDA.
What's that?
That's the ORDA.
Oh, my bylaws. Never mind that. Sorry,
It's okay.
I was reading those one day. And so what I'd like to do tonight is we can look these over, and Nicole can talk about them with us. And then hopefully, I expect we can try to have these out to the public at the next meeting. Do you have your set?
I do.
Okay, why don't you give us just a general overview, please?
So I'm gonna start with this one because I see Laura's looking at that one already. So the operating statement. Okay. The biggest thing I want to point out is that these are brand new reports that you have not ever seen before. Normally I give you handmade reports on Excel spreadsheets. This is going to tell you exactly what was expended each month or what revenues came in. This report will also give you your year to date. So if you look in these columns over here to your right,
Mhm.
it's going to tell you what was done in this month. If you skip over further right, it's going to tell you where we are for the year in that year's budget. So in 2024, this is where we stand in that year's budget. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It's just a pretty cool tool just to give you a,
Love it.
yeah. The next one, trial balance. This one does not have a header. I'm not really sure why.
We're looking at you. Why don't we have it done? It doesn't have a drought, yes. Okay,
So the main things that I want to point out on this report, again, it's going to tell you what was done in this month, but it gives you a beginning balance for that account, what was expended or or brought in as revenue during the month and an ending balance. And that's for each account in the general fund, the highway fund, etc. The biggest things as a board that I want to point out to you is up here in these blocked headers. There's a debit and a credit. Those should always match. And if you ever see that they are not matching and I don't catch it, please bring it to my attention, because that means that we've got something misposted. Yes.
Don't match.
So, exactly. So, and this is why I didn't want them distributed a couple weeks ago, because we are still working very diligently on bringing everything forward, from having to use Quicken to create Excel reports and bringing it into this program. So we're getting there. I know there are some discrepancies, but it's more, I just wanted you to get familiar with this is what's coming, and I think you'll like it better once we get used to it.
And all it is basically mainly is a coding error that when she did her voucher, her first code where she put it to the department was right, but the second one, when it transferred it over in enhanced, like, I mean, your park's like, her center code is a 03, it maybe put a 01 over here, so it posted it to the general instead of to park, or to highway. And that's all it was. It just didn't, enhanced didn't pick up that second code. And that's all it is. She's just got to go back through. So doing a trial balance each time she does her vouchers will show her, and that she'll catch that from now on to be able to do that. It's just going back now that she's done this, and that's what this will help do.
And the other thing on the trial balance, I know Tina will catch it quickly, but the very first line, we're talking about the very first line, and it's in parentheses. That's kind of indicating that it's an upside down account. Again, we know this is a problem. It's bringing those balances forward from the other program, and once we do that, you won't see that anymore. And then the very last one is the balance sheet. This, in my opinion, is more like a supervisor's report in the respect that it breaks it down by fund. So your very first page, we were talking about general fund. It's going to tell you all the revenues we took in for the month, any payables. You're going to see in down here in the liabilities, you'll see the accounts payable. So that's everything we expended in the month. And then at the very bottom, your equity, it's going to always tell you what your fund balance is. So instead of wondering every month, well, what do we have for fund balance? What's left? It's going to be on this report. Once we get this thing finalized, you'll know every month what's in there. Any questions on those?
It's helpful that it's all by department, like
Yeah.
each page. That's nice. Really clean.
I'm very excited that we're finally getting it to a point where I can present it to you. I mean, we're close. Probably right now, the operating statement is probably the most current item I can give you. The other two, we're very close. I'm hoping within the next few weeks here, we're gonna have it finalized. One of the other things, and it's not in your packet, but Kathy was also showing me this. You're gonna start getting one of these from me every month. This is a bank reconciliations sheet. This particular one is just pertaining to our NY class accounts. Those are our external savings accounts that earn the high yield interest for us. You're going to start getting one of these from me every single month. And what it is, it's going to break down, and again, I know you're used to these, but these are our NY class reports that I get directly from the bank. It tells us every single account we have, how many deposits were done, how many withdrawals were done, and what the monthly interest was. It's all going to be put on one sheet for you to look at. And I can include these with this, just so you guys can kind of double check me, but something else that I think is important for you guys going forward. And I'm gonna implement that as well for the regular MET checking accounts. We'll be doing the same thing.
And that's what you said, that you pull the money from to pay the
Yes.
the bills at the end of the month, or to
Yes.
equal it out.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So I try to leave as much as I can in these accounts until we need the money and pull it, because again, it's 5% interest.
Mhm. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, there are two things. One thing I'm gonna call on you. I've been talking to Mike Shear. I'm gonna pass this out. I think it's important for the town to upgrade its email and internet storage capacity capabilities. What we have right now is we use Spectrum, which has very little in terms of online storage capacity and very little sort of functionality. We're going to try to, I'd like to see the town migrate to a Microsoft 365 Exchange platform, which would create an online Dropbox database. So for example, Doug couldn't quite share with me a recent application to the planning board because it's just too big as an attachment. So, I've been using in my line of work Dropboxes for years here, where I can share important documents, give a security code to the client who needs to access it, and they can go read the stuff without us having to, necessarily print everything out and stuff like that. We'd still have to print a number of the things out, but Mike also estimated that in order for us to upgrade, he'd like to basically archive and shut down all of the Spectrum accounts. We use sort of like a backup hard drive that's attached to each PC right now, and it contains data files, and so I have Randy's emails and things. Governments have to keep all their records, and it needs to be archived properly. If we were ever, and we get FOIL requests, and they start FOIL requesting us for our town business emails, it'll be a real project right now for us to assemble any kind of response to a FOIL request or to a subpoena. So this would allow us to do it safer and be more effective. I'm also suggesting that the town board members have their own town board official business email address. So that way, in case a FOIL request is made, they have to go searching through your personal emails or whatever account you set up personally to get town business emails together to respond to it. Another headache. So if we could probably set up, each board member would have, at townofwilmington.org emails. That's also probably included in this estimated price. Now, finally, New York State is really encouraging, excited about pushing cybersecurity. And we just did our insurance renewal, and we had the cybersecurity, addendum appendix. And, we're answering those questions to see if we could be insured. And maybe, it's kind of stuff our system is not really up to
This does not include that?
This would.
Oh, what?
Our current system is not up to the,
Does this include a cloud?
yeah,
Okay.
our current system was not really built for purpose anymore. And they have, when we was in New York City, I've got a couple posters if anyone wants to know about their cybersecurity, the double verifications that we all have to do on our personal accounts and things like that. I hope we don't have to go too far, but these kinds of things will help protect the client. So, we have an insurance policy. If we get a data breach, will the insurance cover it? That's always the question. They'll say, oh, well, you didn't really quite live up to it or stuff like that. So even though we have a contract, getting insurance companies to pay claims could be a challenge if they think we're not necessarily up to speed.
Is it an annual 3,000 or is this
No,
a one-time?
Just one time.
And then no matter how many users we have?
No, we have, the change in price, right now we pay $8.95 per user per month for Spectrum, and it'd be $13.95 per user per month for Microsoft Exchange, because I would recommend including the board members having their own accounts, so, we'd have to be an extra 4 or 5. Just a moment, Tim.
And he would take over the files that we have on the hard drive.
Yeah, he would clean everything up for us and archive it and store it. And one of the things I like about Mike is he'll come in and work when we're not here. He lives just down here on Fox Farm. He's very gracious and helpful, and he explains things well.
So just to be clear, $3,000 for him to do the work and then $13.95 per user per month,
Yes, I think so. I'll have to look at he'll give me the quote for that.
which is,
Yeah, when he wrote this up, I hadn't quite floated the idea of putting each board member on it. That was me coming back from New York City. We could do this at the regular meeting. I was thinking we could,
I see Tim's on there.
You can't vote on that. He can talk, but he can't vote.
Why don't you open them up?
That's not the request.
He said he would discuss any times beyond that.
What's
Any
that?
amount beyond the 3,000, he said he would discuss prior.
Oh, no, he has to get,
You might have it muted on his end, that's why it's not letting you.
Okay, well, I sent the unmute
So-
request.
okay.
There, he's unmuted now. You could talk to him.
Hello, Tim. So I'm not necessarily, he'd like this, like we could do this at the next meeting probably. But I just wanted to have you guys review that.
Okay.
Now, Tina, can we talk about the annual audit of the department?
What would you like to talk about?
Okay, so under town law, town boards are required to annually go over each department and audit the year-end stuff. And there's a form, and Keen just went through this long process and got a nice long, tutorial from the auditor on the responsibilities of the board to actually go through each department. Any department that handles cash is to present the books to the board yearly and have the board review and sign off on that audit. I don't have the forms for it. Do you have the forms for it?
Yeah, they're in this book.
Okay, so we have forms for these things. That's something I'd like to talk to the board more about going forward and learn a little bit more about it. See if we can, set it up so we could maybe do 2023. But we'll have to figure, because I haven't actually talked to the department heads about that this may be something, they need to come and bring stuff. So it would be cemeteries, justice court, clerk.
Just for the cash taking?
I'm
Well,
this is why
it's a whole form, but it's not going to be. We actually called down and talked to the department of Office of Comptrollers and had a conversation with them. And their take on it is not as much as filling out this form as each one of us, a board member, going to each department and talking to them and going through and looking at the books and asking questions. And talking to each department and looking to see if you see anything that looks unusual. and asking questions about anything that you see that looks out of place or unusual. It's kind of hard when you don't know exactly what you're looking for. If you don't know how to do the audit, it makes it a little bit different. But there's a form here that you can go through and look. Does the reconciled bank statement agree with the balance that's recorded on the accounting records? These could take a long time to go through and look. But when you sit down with each department and have them pull out their books and look at it, is what they want you to do, and look at all the transactions.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do on the month, right?
So
And then your new forms are gonna be.
they're
I mean,
gonna
you've
help
got
you
pretty
do
well
that,
Streamlining
yes.
it.
But for 2023, we gotta look at the end of the year and sit down and look at it. And so,
So we need a tutorial on how to do that, I suppose.
You guys get one from me every month too. Plus I did that summary.
so we
You're
just
in
need
summary
to,
for
it's
you.
basically just meeting with each one of the department heads and saying, this is what we wanna look at, Normally what they would have you do is they would have, by the end of January, each department should have all their books on the table for the department heads to come in during 1 week and look at everything, including the justice system. So you can look at everything and look at the books. And you would come in, you would sit down, and you would look at everything. You would come in and sit down and look and take your notes, and if you had any questions, you would ask that department.
January.
Should have been done by January 20th.
So this is going to be a bit of, there's going to be a bit of a rolling into it kind of process, because I'm not sure. Um, you know,
But
how,
some towns don't do it at all.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so
it's not
asking the justice court and things like that, we have to talk. And I'll be happy to talk to everyone about this stuff. But that was that's a new update for the voting.
But now we're on the right page, so we know what we're looking for. But for 2023, we can now just go along and look and do what we need to do.
No problem.
Because it's kind of late to do for by the 12th of January.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, New York certainly has an awful lot of things that they ask small towns to do.
But it's in our local government management book for our good, So
Yeah, I have one of those that has an actual binder and has a color.
so do I.
You do too?
This is just an extra copy I brought in case anybody wanted that form.
Oh,
I'd like to see the one.
Mine's actually colored. Mine's got the blue color on it.
I got blue color too. So, okay, thank you for that. Now the new business. Doug has told me that we really should appoint an alternate to the planning board. Toot sweet, probably today, because there's things that are on file for the March meeting that really shouldn't be delayed, and we're not sure we're going to have a quorum at the planning board. And I was thinking of that, which if you're still interested in something like that, and would you be available to show up on the 7th?
Yes, I plan
Help making a quorum or something like that.
on it. Okay.
I know. My idea of a long interview process and vetting all the candidates is one thing, but I think that the having to change what's already on the agenda because the planning board can't make a quorum this month could be a problem. So I'm proposing that we appoint Pat as an alternate, and for right now, and then hopefully we don't have to do this, as a kind of an emergency gesture going forward. But that's kind of the advice I got from Doug.
I have no problem about that. That would be great. I would make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Did you forget to turn the heat on?
Listen, I work over there. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat. And you also please go see Dawn to be sworn in and take the oath.
Okay.
I assume you have to do that. And thank you. And that's it for me. Anything from anybody want to bring anything up from the public? Tony?
So you're talking about emails for the board members, is this all board members or just council?
Oh, it's just the elected board members. Yeah, I did an inventory of all the websites and email addresses for the towns inside the county. And many of them have it just for the town boards. And then you have some places, some towns don't, it's like town supervisor at Gmail. And so they don't have any. But I figured, we're not that big. It's 5. So we have 1, 2, Eddie. I mean, we probably have 5 right now. We would just be having an extra 4 onto the account. And then planning board may have, maybe we can identify a sort of a generalized mailbox for the planning board instead of necessarily for the codes. We would give Doug access to that as well. And you could probably, it seems, I envision it this way, that the planning board would be able to access its own cloud Dropbox, share its own documents, let each other know that I've got this thing, I got, that kind of stuff. That is the file complete, the survey's here, take a look at it when you're feeling like taking a look at it at home with a cup of coffee. And that's kind of how I see it, hopefully working that way. And it'll make it easier. For board meetings, I'd love to be able to share documents and resolutions, just get them uploaded. And to say, okay, they're uploaded, everyone, you can help yourself look at it. Interestingly, some of these towns have really amazing links to other types of, their financial documents and things like that that look pretty cool. Town of Harrietstown's got a very nice website. But I know how much I talked to that supervisor, and they pay $7,000 a year for that website company, which is a lot of money, just for that function. But it really, to me, if I could have a Cadillac, I'd have one too. But that's kind of, I like looking at websites like that personally because they're very useful.
Easy to navigate.
Yeah. So, any other comments? Steve?
Talking about your website, Roost will do it.
Roost, I've already had a discussion with them about maybe helping us update it.
You just did ours.
Yeah.
Roost did ours.
And Roost has been doing ours. I asked for a little help a month or so ago. There's a couple things on our website, to be honest with you, I'd like to see taken down. And it's completely out of date, kinds of things. And Roost may do it for a little, but getting them on the phone to make a change is difficult. And so I just have to, I don't know, sit down for an hour or so, try to figure out, take stuff off the website that's really just needs to get taken off. And things like that. But I have to pick up the phone call. It's kind of one of the reasons why I like Mike. If I pick up the phone, try to reach out to someone somewhere else, I'll get a call back in a week or two, or something like that. That's why I kind of like Mike Share. It doesn't take that long.
Can I ask if do you pay them to do the website?
Roost did not charge us to do the website.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was talking to me.
I'm sorry, you're both in the same eye line.
Roost did not charge, but the way I understand it, Matt has pretty much taken back over control of the site. So he can post how we want, when we want. But they designed it, with a new logo for the town, because it was on the town trucks and everything. I mean, it was all to our approval, but they were really working it.
No, I just have to get the right person on the phone
I mean, Favor can ask Matt.
who Matt talks to
Yeah.
get stuff done.
Right.
That sounds fine. Yeah, now I'm not running out suggesting we do with the town of Harrietstown, I'm just giving that as an example. Okay, anything else? Okay, adjourned, thank you. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
You're going, Mark.
Nicole, do you need these back?
This is
The paper, the
book that I was telling you
financials?
about.
Does she need
There's
this?
that roof book. I
Those are
was
just,
telling you
yeah.
about.
Okay.
That yearly report I was telling you about how
Is this the same as the white binder
anything.
that I got?
Listen, I don't know. I pulled that from the shelf. It looks like it's,
Jay did. You know what they got? They Jay stuff, but the lake stuff, but
There's something like that.
they're not late.
Are these mine to take home?
Logo.
I just took them off my shelf and was looking for something.